All right. Hi everyone, how are you guys tonight? You guys, my name is Brandy and I am the owner and artist behind Brush by Brandy. And we are live on the Brush by Brandy Facebook and Instagram pages tonight. And I apologize, I'm a little rusty at this. I'm actually running solo tonight. Sean is not here with me. Usually my husband is here behind the camera. And so I'm running solo tonight. But I do have my son Ashton here helping me. So say hi, Ashton.
Hi guys.
So Ashton's going to help me read comments while we're on live tonight. And I will get you guys links in the post too after I get off. I apologize. I was searching and I couldn't find the link that I wanted before. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint and then I'll give you guys links after I get off. I kind of showed you guys what I'm going to work on tonight on my page a little bit earlier. But I'm actually going to be working on this vintage high chair. And I'm kind of excited because I've actually never done a vintage high chair. And I much prefer it when a customer comes to me and gives me a project that I haven't done before. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way, but when you paint the same thing over and over and over, you kind of get like, okay, you know, like there was one time when I had a vanity and I got orders for the same vanity 4 times in a row. And by the end I was like, I never want to paint this finish again. I never want to see this vanity again. So it's always kind of nice to do something for the first time, a little bit new and a little bit fresh. So what have I done to this high chair? Well, it was a used high chair. Like somebody actually used this for their baby. And so it had some signs of wear. I took my Surf Prep sander and I sanded the body down. Just made it nice and smooth. I did have to do a little bit of repair to the seat, just some glue that I added to the veneer. So that's nice and attached again. And then I've got 2 coats of primer on here in a light gray. I've taken all the hardware off. That was the first thing I did. So this tray is not attached. I'm actually going to take this off so that we can work on the body. So all the hardware is off. I'm going to soak it really well because it was used for a baby. It looks like it's got baby food gunk like in, do I have my hardware? No. And then let me show you guys what I'm going to be doing to this high chair. So the first thing we're going to be using is the Hello Baby transfer from Redesign with Prima. This transfer is adorable, you guys. This is actually a gift for a baby. So one of my customers who's purchased some pieces before from me shared a story that was just incredible. A baby that was born through fertility struggles and then with health struggles when it was born, and just how treasured this baby is to this family. So this is going to be a gift to that family. So it's extremely special that I get to do this. I'm super touched by it. And the nursery theme is zoo animals. And this transfer in it has a panda. I've got a lion. I've got a bear. I do have another transfer. I think it's in the same tube actually. Let me see. I do have another transfer that has an elephant if I wanted to pull an elephant together. Yeah, I do. This has a couple different transfers in it. This has a fox, a bunny. So there are zoo animals in here that I could definitely tie in with this finish. So there's my lion. And I might pull that elephant from the, what's the other one? Sweet Dreams. Sweet Dreams is the other baby transfer that has the elephant. Okay, so what colors am I going to be using? Well, it's a little boy. And so I'm going to be going for some little boy colors, not so much the pinks and purples, but we're going to use some pastels, but I'm going to be using a yellow, and this is called Bee's Knees, and the paint that I'm going to be using is Chalky Chicks Furniture Paint. This is from 2 Chicks and a Tool Belt. 2 Chicks and a Tool Belt. All right. Okay, so that's Bee's Knees. This color is called Y Blue. I've got Riptide, which is kind of a green. And then this is a darker blue called Denali. So those are my 4 colors, and they've got a really cute color lineup. This is their color card here. Tons of colors. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm actually going to mix even more. So 2chicksandatoolbelt.com is their website. And then I'm going to use a little bit of white, and this is their white called Aged Burlap. So they've got nice plastic containers. They've got a 16-ounce size, and then this is a full quart. And I want to use these colors, but I actually want them a little more pastel-y than what they are right now. And so how do you make a color more pastel? You add white to it. So we're going to do a little bit of mixing before I start putting some paint on the body. Can you hand me those bowls that are by your feet? So I just got out some small bowls here. These I just pick up at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to basically take each of my colors and I'm going to mix a more pastel version of it by adding a little bit of white to the color itself. So I'll have my rich, fully saturated color, and I don't need very much because this is going to be a multicolored finish, but I do want enough that I can do multiple coats with these colors. And I'll just put lids on them. These are little dishes from the Dollar Tree. They have lids with them. I'll put lids on them, and I store these in my refrigerator. And that's because they're not as well sealed as a full paint container. So when I mix, and I'm going to be using it for a project, oops, this one just needs to be shaken. Speaking of which, I read the back of their label before I started this project. I kind of have to read it to you guys. Okay, safety precautions. Protect your eyes from splashes. We have never splashed paint in our eyes while working with this product, but we still have to put it on this label. Only idiots would eat this. It's not meant to be ingested or inhaled. Seriously, isn't there a fast food joint close by? If you do eat this, please call your local poison control. And then it goes on. Anyway, there's some pretty funny parts just reading the label. I kind of got a kick out of it. So I like that. Kind of shows their personality. Okay, so there's my blue, that's Y blue, and then my darker blue, which is called Denali. So what this is going to do is it's going to give me multiple shades of these colors. So when I blend this down the body of my piece, it's going to look like I have even more colors involved than the 5 colors that I'm really using. Let me open this guy. I opened all my containers except for the white. Okay, and then I'm not going to exactly mix. I'm just going to mix until I get the shade that I like of each one of my colors. So I'm doing the green first, and I want just a really soft shade of that green. Okay, so that's nice and pretty. I'm gonna add well, no, you know what? I'm going to leave that. Okay, so that's my green. I'm not measuring this at all. I just know that I want nice soft pastel shades. I think on this yellow, ooh, that's nice. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit. I want this to be a really soft yellow. So that I did a little heavier on the white just because of the softness that I want from this color. Okay, so that's my soft yellow. This is my darker shade of blue. Okay, I'm gonna have a lot of dishes to wash. And then this guy here, this blue has a little more green undertones in it. This is that Y blue. Okay, so now I've just taken my 4 colors and I made 8 colors out of them. So that's why it's important to always have a good white and a good black in your arsenal, because you can use them to mix basically infinite shades of the colors that you already have. Get this drip of white paint off my wig. All right, I'm going to start up at the top, I think, with my lightest colors. I'm actually going to start with the white. So this is the aged burlap, and I'm going right over my primed body. One tip I wanted to give you guys, when I was priming this, because it's got so many spindles, and spindles stink to paint, and blending over spindles is really like kind of a sadistic thing to do to yourself. So I'm going to warn you before I do that I am choosing to blend over spindles. It's not easy. It's probably going to take me a little bit of time to do. This is just my first coat. Spindles have a lot of sides on them. But when I'm going to use a little bit of water with this just because I'm going over my primer. It's got a little bit of tooth to it just to help my brush glide easier. Okay, I want very little of this true white, so I'm just going to do this very, very top section, and I'm just going to come down a little bit further just so I have a piece that I can blend into. And I'm going to have to move this chair a lot. So now I've got the front side. I'm going to come do the back side too. When I primed this chair, I actually used a sponge. I sponged it on. Now when you're putting paint on with a sponge, it will have a tendency to, on your first coat, to want to pull the paint back off because you're wiping it. In fact, Ashton, do you want to go to my sink really quick? And on the drying rack, there's a cut up piece of sponge. It's blue. Can you grab me that? You guys, my son Ashton is here helping tonight. Sean, actually, my oldest son had a track meet. And we don't have busing to sports right now because of our good old friend COVID. And so Sean is at a track meet tonight. Okay, so I'm going to go to right about here. So what I was talking about is this is just a little cut up piece of a blue sponge, and I wiped on all of my primer just using a cut up piece. It's an old sponge. It's a junky one. I would probably throw it away if I wasn't just going to use it for this, and I just wiped it on. Now my first coat did not get very good coverage because the wiping is a lot of friction. It's going to want to pull that paint. But my second coat, is where I started getting the coverage. So if you do choose to wipe on paint, which it does help a lot with spindles like this, just know that your first coat is going to get really bad coverage, and then your second coat, it's going to have a little bit of tooth to it finally, and that's where you'll get your coverage. So this is my pastel version of my bee's knees, which was a mix of the bee's knees, and then I added a little bit of that aged burlap. Okay, when I paint spindles with a brush, these are a little more squared off, these ones in the center here, but these ones on the side, I basically just slap them around a little bit. That's how I go around the circumference of a spindle. I'm using a horizontal brush stroke. It's frustrating to paint a spindle and try to go like this. So if you just go and keep your brush strokes horizontal. Okay, as I get up into this white color, I do want to kind of blend them. This is my base coat. So I'm not going to really perfect this until I get up into my next coat. But I'm just going to give myself kind of a rough blend. I'm coming back with my brush from my white, and I'm just going to work those together a little bit. And I'm going to turn this chair a ton, guys. In fact, you know what? Leah from Leah Noel Design Co. has a giant Lazy Susan table. Basically, if you have like a Lazy Susan, put this on it. If you've got spindles, put it on it. Because it's just going to go round and around and around and around and around. I think Ashton is falling asleep there, you guys.
Sheila said new chair for Sean.
Yeah, we can even service meals in here. You guys can talk about Sean all you want. He's not even here to read it. Okay, this is going to take 2 coats, and they do say that on their label that 2 coats is recommended. This is a chalky style paint. It's totally blendable. We talked a couple weeks ago about different styles of paint. For example, an all-in-one style paint versus a clay paint versus a chalk style paint. You know, of course, there are some that could fall into multiple categories, but this one is more of a chalky style paint. It's friendly to water, blendable. You know, coverage, I actually am pretty happy with the coverage. Yellows are a hard color to get coverage on. Yellows, reds, some of those corally tones that have reds in them. Those can be, those can be hard colors to get coverage from. So this yellow, I'm getting pretty good coverage from it for a yellow.
Which brand are you using?
So this is called Chalky Chicks Furniture Paint, and it's from Two Chicks in a Tool Belt. And the website is twochicksinatoolbelt.com. And I'll throw the link up. As soon as I get off, I'll add it to the post. But it's twochicksinatoolbelt.com is where you'll find them. They have a whole bunch of colors. They do have some waxes, brushes. I'm kind of deciding, I think I want to start, I probably should have carried my yellow down actually a little bit further because I think I want to start my green right around here. And this main part of the seat will be my green. But I can kind of, I'm going to move these a little bit closer because I keep having to reach for it. So I probably should have gone my yellow all the way down to about this point. I may need to bring it down further. So painting spindles, ideally if you are painting spindles, so for example, a lot of dining chairs have spindles on them, spray them. Painting spindles is not fun.
What brush are you using for the yellow?
I'm using my Klingon S50 brush. These are Klingon. This is the S50. So I've quickly found my probably favorite most used brushes are this Klingon S50, the O45, which is a large oval. I also like, this is from Wiesel. This is their round premium brush, the 1.5 inch size. I like that. And then the F40. So I would say of Klingon brushes, and then this guy here, which is from Wiesel. The Klingon brushes are also from Wiesel.
Sheila asked to open the hatch.
There's nothing in there. In fact, you know what, Sheila? I actually painted this wall recently. You might notice it's not paint spattered anymore. I painted over, oh, I don't want to tear my drywall. There's nothing in there. I painted over the hatch and I didn't take it off, so it's kind of attached now. There's nothing in there. That's our fire sprinkler system.
Danny asked you to use the zebra round brush on the spindles.
Oh yeah, you could use a zebra round brush. I think I have one zebra round brush. I would have to dig for it. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna start adding my green, but I think I want to blend this out a little bit more. So I may end up adding a little bit more yellow. I'm using the pastel versions of these. These are all the ones that I mixed with a little bit of my white. Okay, so I'm doing this, it's more or less 4 turns that I do to get each side of a spindle.
Sheila asked what was the first brush you used for the white?
What was that guy? That's some of this light. This is the F as in Frank, 40. You guys, my husband is gone tonight, so my son Ashton is here reading comments for me, so you guys say hi to Ashton. He's a little bit handicapped right now. You want to show him? Reach in front of the camera. Ashton's got a broken wrist, so he can't really be doing anything anyways. Might as well come out here and read some comments, right? Thankfully, he only had to do 4 weeks in the cast, and we're already a week and a half in. So he'll get it off at the beginning of June and still have some summertime left. Okay, so I put that green on, and now I'm coming back with my brush for my yellow. And I'm just going over the top part of the green so that the yellow and the green blend together.
She said story time. What did you do?
Okay, this is Ashton's story time.
So I was on the field at school and my wrist bended forward, and then when I went to land, I landed on the corner of my wrist, and it landed right on the bone that's right there, and it just bent my bone in.
He landed on his wrist like this. He was out playing soccer and tripped over someone else's foot, went to fall and rolled his wrist like that. And it actually bent the bone. It's a buckle fracture, which I'd never even heard of. But I guess it happens to kids, and their bones will buckle instead of just breaking like old people do, like my bones would do. Their bones will bend, and it's called a buckle fracture. So his bone buckled, and the cast is going to straighten it. It's kind of interesting. It does in the X-ray. It has a bend, like it's not straight. It's got a kink in the bone. Okay, so that's my back side. I'm going to fade the yellow and the white together a little bit better, but I really like how pretty the green going into the yellow is. So then I'm going to finish the front of these spindles. So see here, this is where I need that Lazy Susan. I have one, but it would be too small. I should have Sean make me one of those tables. I used it teaching a conference one time, and Leah was there, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally making this at home, and so she did. And it's basically just Lazy Susan hardware, which you can buy off of like Amazon, and then you do a big like plywood round, and it makes a huge spinning table.
Yeah, Sheila, it gets itchy once in a while.
Yeah, well, and the doctor, doctors always tell you like the right way to do things, and they say never stick something down your cast to itch in it, right? Right? The doctor said that. So what does he have? I said, that they sell kits with cast itchers in the kit. Like that's a thing you can buy on the market. So they know it's a problem, but of course the doctor says never use it.
Yeah, it gets a little stinky too.
Yeah, well that's just because you're a preteen boy. All right, so now I'm going into my seat, which is going to be this green, and I'm going to work in between, making sure I get under the base of all of these guys here. And then around this bottom part of my seat.
Yeah, Sheila, I'm totally going to put some screws in there and screw it in.
Yeah, you'll lose a couple down there. One you won't be able to get. You guys are making him laugh. Okay, so this cracked me up too. We go get the cast on, last Monday? And then Wednesday he has a field trip at school to a ropes course. I was like, sorry teacher, I'm sending my son with a broken wrist on a field trip to a ropes course.
Sheila, if you fell out of an airplane, I don't think you would just break your leg.
Maybe it's a low-flying airplane. Okay, so I've got my green here. I'm going to start my blending my light blue, my softest blue, onto here. And that's going to be this color here, which is kind of it's got more green undertones in it. It's more of a tealy blue.
Lori Peoples, she got a cast and she used a ruler to itch it.
Oh, that's a good idea. I could have saved some money just teaching you to stick random household objects down there. Just don't tell the doctor. The cast itcher is basically just like a long piece of plastic. The only reason I got it is because it came with the, he needed one of those water sleeves to be able to take a shower, And actually he has been going on the boat. And so we got him like a water sleeve, and the cast itcher came in with the water sleeve. So that's the only reason we have it. This is super cute, you guys. I think this is a really sweet baby gift too. So what my plan is this body will be painted on the tray is actually going to have the baby's name and his birth date on it.
Yeah, Sheila, the doctors don't like to find things in there when it comes off.
Yeah, it's like a treasure hunt. Coins, jewels. What else? Pencils. Your homework. Any other good stuff in there?
Yeah, Sheila, that's a great idea. Put glitter down there right before they take it off.
So it's like a glitter bomb when they open it up. Sheila just likes to put glitter on everything. All right. So this just takes patience. It's just the round and the round and the round and the round. So what I'm going to do with this tray though is I want to create kind of a soft blend around here. It'll have the baby's name. I think I might put his name up on the back and then birth date and birth information here. And then I'll have my transfer. The animals will kind of like, I might make it like look like they're holding a sign. And then I might pour this in resin so that it's actually durable, because I don't think they're going to actually use this as their main high chair, but they might.
Susan, that's a smart idea. Put jewels down there, finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
Well, if it's your own jewels, then...
Diana asked, whose baby?
This is one of my customers, and it's her friend. So she commissioned this as a gift, which I think is a really, really, really thoughtful gift. Like, what a sweet baby gift. And her intent was not necessarily that this is their main high chair, although I will make it so it is functional if they wanted to use it. But her intent is just that it's kind of a decorative.
Lori asked, what will you seal it with so food doesn't stain it?
So I'm thinking that on the body I'm going to use a traditional clear coat. Two Chicks in a Tool Belt does have a clear coat. Probably something, I want something with a sheen on it. Whoops, got a little piece of hair in there. Something with a sheen on it so that it's wipeable. I've got a section of my, I have to reach up underneath here, so I got to tip it like this. Okay, and this one has a weird section I can't get to too. Like this. Yeah, there's like a spot inside here. It's like in jail. I have to reach my hand in. Little spot right there I missed. But then I think on the tray which would actually come in contact with all the food, that I'm probably going to pour it in clear resin. Whole part, and then the seat and everything will have just a regular clear coat on it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Don't quote me on that. You know, everything usually changes from what you guys see when I'm live to what the project actually looks like when I'm done. I do have it has a buckle too, like a little hardware buckle that I took off. It screws on here, and then it just screws onto the underside of the tray.
Deborah Hubbs asks, is resin safe for food?
It's not usually recommended. Again, then this was a conversation I had with the customer, that she envisions this more being as a tribute, like a sentimental item, more than actually being their main everyday baby high chair. Maybe something that sits in the corner of the nursery, because it's being done in their nursery decor. That's what she envisioned.
Sharon Moore said there is food safe resin.
There are food safe resins. You could use a hemp oil too, seal it in a hemp oil if you wanted it to be food safe. Because usually I am generally hesitant on baby items like cribs and things, because babies do chew and bite on everything. Like, it would not be uncommon for a baby to turn their head and bite on, you know, the side of this high chair. So I just have that conversation with my customers so they understand that these products are not meant to be ingested.
She just said, who likes babies anyway?
All right, so I'm bringing my green over, and then I think I'm just going to do the tip of this bar here in the yellow. And then I'll be doing the legs. It's just a tedious process. I'll make sure that I sand in between my coats so that I get a nice smooth finish. I'm using those brush strokes that go around the spindle instead of trying to go the length of it. Use a sponge if you can. Spray it if you can. If this was a solid color, I 100% would advocate spraying it. If you're doing a dining set and you've got a whole bunch of chairs, spray them.
Thank you, Sheila. She said I'm an awesome narrator.
Oh, sweet. Should we ditch Sean, you guys? Thank you guys for supporting him tonight. Don't tell Daddy. Maybe Daddy will be fired from his job. He's been out here with me a lot because, like, last night, your brothers went in the pool. Mm-hmm. They were swimming in the pool. Well, guess who can't swim in the pool right now? He can kind of go on the step with his arm.
She just said we'd like to pick on Sean. You're fired.
Yeah, they'd miss Daddy. Dad is probably watching from the track meet right now. All right, so I think I'll go with a little bit of the yellow onto the handles like that.
Jenny asked, have you found a paint that you love yet?
Oh gosh, the paint that I love. This is such a hard question, you guys, because it's not like there is one best paint that does everything best. So I've got a few that are standouts to me. You'll notice I'm using Wise Owl a lot because I really like that they have a nice complete line. That's huge for me. I love the paint. It's so richly pigmented. The colors are super saturated. So that's one that I'm loving. Daydream Apothecary, I love because I love the mission of their line, which is to support artists, which is, you know, something that's close to my heart. And you guys, when I say support artists, artist is anyone who does art. Anyone who uses the paint is an artist. So I just appreciate that that's their goal, that that's something that's important to them. So Daydream Apothecary is one, and I love the Daydream Apothecary clear coat. As you can see, since this is my first time using this paint, I'm still testing out paints too. I've by no means even gotten to the end of them. I have paint still coming, but there are different types of paint. It depends on if I want an all-in-one style paint. What I would answer for my favorite paint would be different than if I wanted a blended look. And again, we kind of covered that a couple weeks ago, but the basic difference between an all-in-one style paint is that you don't need to generally seal it with a clear coat. And so it does beautiful, solid, single color finishes, but they're not as blendable. They're not usually as friendly to water. So my answer for that would be different than, let's see, other paints I love. I really liked the Purico that I used last week. It had the prettiest finish on it. The finish was really unique in that it was kind of a really soft, almost like a ceramic feel. That was something that really stood out to me.
Sheila said she bought more paint, but she said just not go there.
Sheila likes to use her paint for decoration. It is pretty in the container. Who else am I really liking? Sorry, I'm looking over at my shelf right now. Oh, Country Chic. I like Country Chic's color selection.
Diana said use the paints in reverse going down now.
Yeah, well, that's usually what I do. Oh, I see what you're saying. If I ended up back at the yellow again, that would be really pretty. I'm going to go down to the darkest blue, and I'm going to end at a really dark blue down here. That's kind of where I'm thinking. Okay, I'm going to go up underneath my high chair. I'm going to set this down. My top corner should be fairly dry since I did that when we first started, but I'm going to come up under here, and this is going to be blended just like my top. But I can't see it with it standing up. You know what else I'm finding too? I'm finding that there are certain things in each line that I'll say like, oh, I love this brand for the wax. Like I really am liking Jolie wax. You know, I'll choose one brand's brushes. Like I'm loving the Klingon brushes. One brand for their primer. I love the Wise Owl primer because it's stain blocking and gripping in one. You know, like I said, I like the Daydream Apothecary clear coat. So I'm finding that when you think that you just stick with one line, sometimes you might be missing out on products that are standout in each line.
Marlon said your nails look amazing. I always love your colors.
Oh, thank you. That was so sweet. My nails are kind of a labor of love. It is not easy to be a painter and keep your nails nice. I do my nails like once a week. And I use, oh gosh, what's it called? Essie Gel Couture is the Essie, E-S-S-I-E. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the bottom of this seat because I'm doing the same thing I did to the top of the seat, which is the blend of the green into the blue. I know you guys can't see it, but at this angle, I'm reaching around all these spindles. The second coat is going to take me far longer than this first coat is taking me because I'm going to have to really slow down and really work each color blend. and you can see that it's going to be time consuming.
Sheila said turn the camera all the way to the right, just don't tell Mom.
Oh, you want to see what? We'll go mobile in a minute. I'll show you guys what's coming up for tomorrow. Although Prima got a jump on me today and posted my piece for tomorrow already. I shouldn't tell you guys that. All right,
They're just gonna go hunting for it.
I'm gonna flip this back, and I see a spot right here that I missed.
Sheila said, "Geez."
I know. If you guys want to do this, I did a rocking chair on camera. It's been years ago though, and it was the same deal. This like flipping, spinning. Okay, and now I'm going to start going into my next blue, which is this darker shade. It's got a little more purpley undertones in it. And then I'll end with my very darkest blue. It comes out really, really pretty.
Cindy said, Sheila, don't be a troublemaker.
We like that Sheila comes on and is a troublemaker. You guys keep us entertained. I really like these colors. So why did I choose this line for this project? I looked at my paint and I was like, perfect. These colors that I have from them are exactly the colors that I needed for this high chair.
Diana said, I love the Mickey Mouse chair, Brandy.
Oh, the Mickey Mouse chair. That's been a special chair in our house. I think I'm actually going to probably put it up for sale. It sat in the corner of my son's bedroom for a couple of years and he loved it. But he's too big for it now. It's little. It probably is for like ages 5 and under. So I think I'm going to have to sell the Mickey Mouse chair.
I mean, Diana can have she can call dibs on it.
Yeah.
She
so
calls
if anybody
out.
wants the Mickey Mouse chair, I'll be selling it. It looks great. It wasn't really used. It was more of a decoration item.
Debbie says look great, Brandy.
Thank you so much. I'm going to get through this first coat with you guys on camera tonight. So then I'll have this first coat done. And then you can just imagine that on my next coat, it's going to take me twice as long as I took on this to do my next coat. I probably overmixed this paint a little bit.
Cindy said save it for grandkids.
Oh, geez. Okay, you realize that my oldest son is 14 and I don't even want to hear
gonna be
about
10 years.
grandkids. Yeah, it better be. It better be. I'm afraid if we kept it for grandkids, like they would feel encouraged.
Sheila said she thinks it needs some sparkle.
Oh, Sheila, I did a chair actually for Ashton's teacher that I put glitter in the paint. You know what glitter does though? And this was a learning experience because we actually stayed friends with his teacher afterwards. You remember what teacher it is?
Miss Wright.
Miss Wright, yeah. And the glitter caused the paint to chip. It reduces the surface area of the paint.
She said, what?
Yeah, and it causes chipping really easily. And so I was super sad because I did a chair for his teacher, and we stayed friends, and we went back.
She says, oh yes, I know what it does, and I love it.
It's really pretty. I just wouldn't do it on something that got like regular use, I guess. But we went back and saw the chair after like probably a year and a half, and it was really chipped, and I was super sad about it. They spent all that time. So I would love to have something behind me that I could kind of tilt this chair and put it up.
Diana says use glitter on top coat.
Oh yeah, you could. I'd still be worried that it would encourage chipping. Ever since then, I don't trust it at all. And then I'm scared. You know, it was one thing when it was just a chair that we had given to my son's teacher, but if it was a customer's piece and they had like paid for it and it chipped after, you know, a year, I'd feel so bad.
A bunch of people are asking, have you used melange paint?
I do have some melange. I have both. I have their one line, but here's the thing, because I don't have their whole line, I just have a couple colors. I have to find a project that suits the colors that I have. So I'm kind of using things. That's kind of what determines like what paint am I going to use is I don't have the full line of everything except for Wiesel. I have the entire Wiesel line and the entire Daydream Apothecary line.
She just said yes, yes, yes.
So if I don't have their entire line, if I just have a few colors, then that kind of determines what I'm going to use for what project. Okay, and I'm on my darkest blue, and now I'm going to go back to the original container that I did not lighten with the white.
Diana said you aren't responsible for customers' things after they're receive them.
Oh, they sure think you are, though. They sure think you are. Yep. You know what else is really hard is like my reputation is everything, and so people know where to find me, and they know if they don't like something, you can just put it on social media, right? Well, you can ruin a small business's reputation with something posted on social media, so I'm just really cautious about that stuff. I at least try to make it so, I mean, of course people know if they hit it with their vacuum and stuff, but things like adding glitter, if I didn't warn them against it, knowing what can happen.
Marilyn, she said she's going to try Wise Owl.
I like Wise Owl a lot. It's a beautiful paint. The pigments in it are super rich. Their color selection is good. They kind of checked all my boxes right off the bat. You know, it's hard to paint with a line if, for example, one of the struggles I've had is they have great paint. I love the paint. They don't have primers. They don't have waxes in the line. Some of these lines are smaller, and so they're a little less complete. And so when that happens, I have to go to multiple lines to get all the products I need. So Wise Owl quickly checked my box in that they have a nice complete line. I am really enjoying this paint. It blends well. It's got great coverage. It's nice and smooth up here where it's dried. It's got a nice soft finish. I'll still go ahead and seal it. I got great coverage even on some of the lighter colors like the white and the yellow. They do need a second coat for sure, but still pretty good for a first coat. Definitely a blendable paint. So we'll just do that dark blue will be down on the very bottoms of my legs. But I'm getting there, you guys. We're in the home stretch. We almost made it around an entire... Oh, and then I have to do the tray. So what I'm going to do with the tray is I will print out all that text information, the baby's name, date of birth, that kind of thing, and I will print that out on my Silhouette, which is a vinyl cutter, and I'll make a stencil, and then I'll paint that in whatever colors I have it up in that area.
Natasha asked what paint and brushes you're using.
So I'm using Klingon brushes, and this is Chalky Chicks furniture paint from Two Chicks and a Tool Belt. And their website is twochicksandatoolbelt.com. I will put that link up in the post when I get done. I'm usually moving too fast when I'm trying to get live to put links in there, and so I have to add them afterwards. It's a nice paint. I don't have anything bad to say about it at all. They have a beautiful color lineup. These are the colors that I got from them were the yellows and the green and the blue and then a white. So it was perfect for this project. Exactly the colors that I needed, and then I was able to tint them to pastel versions just by adding a little bit of white to each color.
Luis Alexander said, I think I donate the other paint.
So with my old paint, I sold some, I donated some. I have a box to go to my local retailer, so my local retailer will get some. What else did I do? It got a little bit of everything. Because, yeah, so it definitely went to good homes.
Sally asked if you can use transfers to a laptop.
You can! I've totally seen people do that. Super cute. Put a transfer on your laptop. You definitely can. You may not want to seal it. So in that case, you know, you just don't want to use any, you know, harsh chemical cleaners over the top of it. Just wipe it with a damp cloth if you ever need to dust off the top of your laptop. I'm almost done. It's going to be a long project.
But that's only your first coat.
Oh, I know. Well, this is going to dry overnight, and then tomorrow, maybe the next day, depending on how motivated I feel, I will come back and I'll do the same thing you've seen me do now, and I'm just going to do it on repeat. Only when I do my second coat, I usually start at the bottom and I'll work my way up. And that's because I tend to be heavier handed where I start. That's just my own habit. And so I reverse it on my second coat just to even myself out. So if you don't have that habit, it doesn't really matter the order that you work in. You could start at the bottom and work up. But I just know that's a habit that I have. And so I try to even myself out on my second coat. This is exhausting. My arm is like, wants to fall off right now. I'm just slapping my brush side to side. That's how I get the best brush strokes on spindles. Slap your spindle. Bad spindle. Spindles are really bad. They're kind of a nightmare to paint. I'm going to end this at this darkest blue here. This will be sprayed with clear coat, so I'll do my second blended coat, add all my decorative finishes, which is going to be the transfer and the text of the baby's name that we're going to put on here. And then the clear coat's going to be sprayed. All right, let me just fix this blend a little bit between these two tones of blue. Is that my right brush? That is the wrong brush. That is one of the hazards of working with 25 brushes like I have out now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brushes going right now.
Sheila said she buys stuff that she doesn't even use.
Yeah, isn't that the name of crafting? I haven't showed you guys a tour of my workspace in a while, but yeah, the amount of supplies out here is probably a little insane. A little insane. And then, you know, I had to reorganize everything when I boxed up all my old paint. Had to reorganize all my shelves and try to keep all the brands together. So, you know, reorganizing is hard because you reorganize and then you figure out things that you like and don't like and you reorganize again. And I'll probably be reorganizing for the next year.
Mom, she's trying to double dog dare me to show your workspace.
Do you guys, let me see, is there anything I shouldn't be showing you guys? I mean, it's kind of a mess. I have boxes in the corner. I primed 3 pieces yesterday, so I've got 3 primed pieces sitting behind me. Hang on, I'll take you guys mobile in a minute. Okay, I think I'm about done on my first coat. It's got plenty of flaws in it, you guys, because if I were to sit here and do my final coat on camera, I would easily double the amount of time that just took me. I kind of flew through it just trying to get my coverage. It's smooth. It leveled itself really nicely. Aside from needing to sand, because I have a few little, like there's a little piece of dust right there.
Yeah, Louise, I sometimes have to wash the brushes.
Yeah, I have to wash my brushes tonight. It's smooth. I like the paint. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this coat came out. So I think that's going to be really pretty. That'll be cute for a little boy. I like the colors. The shades of them are just what I envisioned. So, all right, you guys want to see? I'm always embarrassed, and I want to show you guys. Okay, hang on, because I am going to move one piece that I can't show you yet. Hang on, let me move a piece, and then I'll show you.
She said that Dad likes to ignore her comments.
Yeah, Daddy does. Hang on, guys. I'm just moving furniture over here. All right, you guys want to see?
Tonight, so far, we've got 150 stars.
Thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to take Facebook first.
People are saying that you missed one of the spindles where you were sitting.
Oh, I did in the back, huh? I see it now. I'll grab that in a second. I see it. Thank you, guys. Oh, what do I plan to use on the tray? I'll use the same colors that I have up here. So the blue and the green, and I might do, so I'm gonna put the tray on here and I'll do, see how it fades to blue out here, green, and maybe like just these back corners will be a little of the yellow. So it'll match where it sits on the piece itself. And then I might do some kind of cute little painted, so it looks like a sign where the baby's information goes. Something like that on the tray. Cute, huh? Thank you, Nancy. Okay, so let's go see. And I gotta move one more thing that you guys can't see yet. I got unfinished projects going. Sorry guys, my space was not camera ready. But the good news is I'm usually hiding things because it means it's a new release is coming. Okay, so I just primed this piece right here. That's going to be black and gold. And then I primed a cedar chest for my sister. You can't see it, Sheila. Okay. Does that look familiar, you guys? Hang on. I'm going to go get Instagram.
I got it.
Oh, my son's got Instagram. Alright, so this is my piece for my video tomorrow. You guys get a sneak peek. I started this on camera, but I didn't finish it with you guys on camera. I did the molds on camera, and then I did put a base coat, but I ended up changing the colors because I wanted it to just be a background of the yellowy green, so I changed to kind of more bluish greens. This is all Wiesel paint, so Wiesel's totally blendable. Beautiful rich colors. These are redesigned with Prima molds that I used on here, and we cast them in resin. We did this on camera. I show you guys how I bent it and wrapped it around.
We're at 200 stars.
Thank you guys. And then this is sealed in a flat clear coat, so it has no sheen to it, so it's just very matte and kind of rugged, and you know, like I wanted it to look like it was in the middle of the jungle, you know. I did this kind of drip technique, and I painted it upside down, so it's running up, but it just looks like a background for the leaves. I love how it turned out, you guys.
It almost looks like the stains when it rains.
Oh,
it
yeah.
makes the stain of the leaves.
You guys, I think my son has my artistic vision. Like, he can see things, which is kind of cool. So he said he thinks that this reminds him of the stains that the leaves make.
Can I move it up? People are asking.
You guys want to see up close?
Expression.
I'm going to help. So that's up close. Yeah, didn't the leaves turn out awesome, Debbie? So pretty. I love this mold. Love this mold. This is called Simple Greenery is the mold name. And Instagram, you can see. Whoops. You can see how the molds wrap the corners. All right, you guys, so this will be my video tomorrow on my YouTube channel. Ow, that really hurt. I don't think you guys want to see my workspace. It's super messy. It's super messy. You want to see what it looks like out here? I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay, so this is one side. This is my staging wall that looks clean. That's my mess. Hardware, a resin station, more hardware. Paintbrushes are all in here. This is my paint that I use the most. These cabinets back here are also full of paint. Yeah, I hate showing you guys that. It's super messy. And then there's also stains and waxes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna pop off, you guys. I've revealed all my secrets tonight. I'll do a tour of my workspace, but I'm going to pick it up a little bit. It's never going to be perfect. It's a workshop, right? It's not, this isn't a retail shop. It's not meant to be seen by anybody but me. So I just need it to be convenient, which is not usually pretty.
No, it's not a 2-car garage. It's a single-car garage.
Well, I'm on the single car, and then we've got a 2-car that's next to me. So this is just my section, and then we've got a separate outbuilding too.
People are saying they love your workspace, so.
Oh, do they? Wow. I'm lucky to have it. I'm lucky to have it. I just know that it's not pretty.
They're saying I would love to have that mess.
Yeah, well, we built a separate building thinking that would be my workshop, but it doesn't get a Wi-Fi signal. It's a metal structure, kills a Wi-Fi signal. I can't work in there. So, well, I use that for storage instead. And when I took over my garage, but I still have another part. That's where we park our cars.
Sheila, we gotta go quick. Sean just got home.
Yeah, Sean just got home. So you guys check out my YouTube channel, Brush by Brandy on YouTube. I do a video for you guys there every Friday. This will be tomorrow's video. And you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out 2chicksandatoolbelt.com for Chalky Chicks furniture paint. Thank you so much for them and a beautiful project tonight. I'll finish that up and get a video for you guys. You guys have a great weekend.